Hello, this is Mobile Youth with Graham Brown and Freddie Benjamin. Freddie, how are you doing?
Doing well, Graham. What about yourself?
Doing great. So, Freddie, let's talk about social media, mobile, offline, and youth. Let's put them all into the mix. There's some interesting data out about what people share on Facebook. And whilst some of it's quite revealing, it shows us how we share information on Facebook. I think there's a deeper story here that we can maybe dig out for the listeners. Let's start at the top, Freddie, and tell us what are people sharing on Facebook at the moment, and then we'll move on to what the real story is.
All right then. Well, let's look at the data. This is data from Facebook themselves, and just looking at the different kinds of content that people are sharing, from status updates and images. Among posts that people make on Facebook, 42% of all those posts are about travel, followed by
Hmm.
relocation, which makes 18% of all posts. And the most interesting thing is that 25% of all posts are about relationships that include dating, marriage, being engaged, or having a baby. Now,
Hmm.
if you look at these categories, and just like if you step back and look at them, it's very similar to the memories that people have cherished for a long time through photo albums. Now, people used to
Hmm.
take photographs with their Kodak cameras, get the film developed, and then painstakingly organize the images on an album, sort of like almost curating these memories, and these memories about their, marriages, the people they dated, having a kid, places they have traveled, and it was these milestones in their life that they were sharing, and this kind of like they're still doing it. It's just the tools have changed. Now, the camera and the film and the photo album have been replaced by smartphones and Facebook.
Hmm. So, what are we saying here? We're saying that. Let me understand what you're saying. Two things. Firstly, that what people are sharing is what they've always shared. So on social
Yes,
media, the type of sharing doesn't change. It's still the things that remain important to us, and these are things that find meaning offline. They're not sort of created in the online world. And
exactly.
secondly, which is an interesting point, is that you're sort of saying that these new tools, which we will include Facebook and mobile phones and so on, are not really creating anything new. They're just sort of doing what the old tools did, but maybe in a more modern way. So, the Kodak camera and the family album. This is what we're doing now, but in the digital age.
Exactly. I mean, the distinction between online and offline is very important here. And if you look at all these events or these, milestones that people are sharing, they have an offline event before they share it. So they're not
Right.
sharing anything just that's created online. They're sharing an actual important offline event, that they share that occurred with, their friends, family. And the real purpose for sharing this online or really posting it online is that so that they can in the future, come back to it and relive those moments, like just cherish those memories again. And we used to do that before with our photo albums. And
Right.
really looking at smartphones and Facebook, these are like tools to create memories so that people can relive those memories again. I mean, you can think of Facebook as this giant time capsule for all of
Mm.
human history, from the very mundane to the very exciting and everything. And I think like one of the problems is that in the industry we call this sharing, as if we haven't shared before, or
Mm.
that we didn't used to do this before. But really, people are recording their memories, which they used to do it all like from since for a very long time. And I reckon this has a lot to do with, I guess, the recent fallout for Kodak. They didn't see this coming at all. They
Mm.
understood their industry as a very technical industry that included film, the quality of film, and all of that. But really, what people were doing was creating memories and then sharing them. And now they found a different platform to do that.
Mm. There was an element of Kodak that knew that their sort of strapline was share a moment, share a life, right? So
Hmm.
that they knew that somewhere, but that would have only been a small part of the business. What was going wrong was a large part of the business was still stuck in the technology.
Yeah,
So what you're saying is the sharing that we are doing online via social media is nothing new. We've always shared, and the fact that we call it sharing is in a way maybe slightly misleading because we're sort of making out that social is in some way new
yeah,
and a new behavior that we engage in, right? But what
Exactly.
you're kind of saying is that we've always done this.
Yeah. Yeah, and sort of like almost like a word of caution for a lot of mobile companies and app companies, developers out there. It's we put a lot of emphasis on the actual posting and sharing of the content, but that's not the important social ritual. And the very important social ritual is when people involved in the events that they have shared, be it travel or marriage, refer to that content in the future. Relive those
Mm,
moments and create conversations around it. So instead of trying to figure out how people can better share content, developers and innovators need to think about how people can better create memories and then relive those important milestones of their life. And that would keep
mm.
their, whatever devices or apps relevant in the long term.
It's very interesting. So, really, to summarize, all all the what we call sharing activity on Facebook and social media and mobile really is an extension of what we've always done. It's nothing particularly new,
Exactly.
and it's something that finds its meaning in the offline world. So there has to be a real connection to the offline world. And your interesting point at the end there about it's not really about sharing; it's about reliving memories. That makes me think because I think about my own photos on Facebook, and I look at my own photos far more than I look at anybody else's,
Exactly.
and which is kind of strange, bizarrely, isn't it? If you think, well, I've seen these photos plenty of times, but
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
kind of
we
how
took
we
those
are, isn't it?
photos. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. I know exactly what they look like, but I'm sort of going back into them and looking at them because I guess they got more emotional value for me. I'm sort
exactly.
of reconnecting with that memory.
Yeah, and you can even think about, like when you have family or close friends visit, you probably want to show them pictures of your recent travel, right? Your kid's birthday, and all of those
Mm.
events. And we've done that before, using our photo albums, and we still do the same thing. You just pull out your smartphone, log into Facebook or Instagram or Flickr, wherever you store your images, and then share them. And it's really that's the key social event that smartphones and all these apps allow us to do now.
Hmm. You heard it here first. That was Freddie Benjamin, and you've been listening to Graham Brown on the Mobile Youth Show. For more information, check out www.mobileyouth.org.